Welcome, everyone, to this deep, revealing look into a moment that rocked the world of celebrity relationships and carried consequences far beyond the public gaze. Make sure you subscribe now for more intimate, behind-the-scenes stories and unfolding dramas you won't want to miss. Today, I invite you to journey with me through the story of Chang Wook and Hyun, married less than 2 years, and then making an announcement that shifted the very ground beneath their marriage, exposing vulnerabilities, tensions, and a new trajectory they could never have fully foreseen. From the beginning, their union was celebrated like a fairy tale. When Chang Wook chose Hyun as his life partner, fans and the media alike watched with anticipation, hope, even wonder. Two stars whose careers had climbed in parallel, both admired for their talent and sincerity, coming together, it seemed like an ideal match. Their wedding was beautiful, elegant, the kind of ceremony that felt romantic and grounded at once. Photographs circulated, gentle smiles, hands clasped, whispered gazes. At that time, few could predict the fragility that might lurk just beneath. In those first months, their married life appeared radiant. They shared glimpses, modest ones, of everyday routines, dinners, short trips, quiet moments. They posted selective photos of shared projects, of mutual encouragement, of love in public yet guarded. Observers remarked on how carefully they moved, how respectful they seemed of one another's boundaries. For many, it seemed like they were writing a love story that balanced fame and intimacy with grace. But as months passed, little indications began to surface, small gaps in communication, hints of stress, occasionally postponed appearances, the unspoken anxiety behind Kat's social media silence. Some speculated, was one overworked? Did one feel overshadowed? Did different schedules fracture the rhythm of closeness? Perhaps these were normal pressures in any marriage, but in the glare of celebrity, normal has different stakes. Then, less than 2 years after their wedding, the announcement dropped. It was brief, but seismic. Chang Wook and Hyun revealed that they had discovered a major health issue affecting one of them, an unexpected medical diagnosis with implications serious enough to ripple into their marriage, their careers, and their shared future. The wording was cautious but laden. They asked for understanding, patience, privacy, and acknowledged that their relationship would need to adapt in the face of this challenge. The shock was immediate. Fans reacted with concern, alarm, disbelief. The marriage that had seemed carefully curated and steady now felt exposed, vulnerable, fraught. What had begun as a romantic journey had veered suddenly into crisis. The announcement was not a breakup, not a betrayal, but one was a disruption of what they had believed would be ordinary life together. In their joint statement, Chang Wook spoke first, voice tempered, steady but softer than usual. "We have shared many joys with you, and we hope you will share this difficult moment as well." He paused. "In recent weeks, we have learned of a serious medical condition, one that requires treatment, care, and changes to our lives. It is not easy to reveal this, but we feel it is right to be honest. This condition will affect our daily routines, our capacity to work at previous levels, and undeniably our marriage life. We ask for your kind understanding and patience." When Hyun spoke, her calmness bore traces of fragility. When two people vow to accompany one another through joy and hardship, we never fully imagine what form that hardship might take. We never imagined this. But this is now our reality. I am undergoing treatment, monitoring, and many delicate evaluations. The road ahead is uncertain. Our marriage must adapt. We ask that people allow us space to heal, to communicate, and to continue loving even in the face of this test. That announcement reframed everything. Because it was no mere rumor, no contract dispute, this was bodily, medical, personal. The marriage was no longer just a public journey, it had become a private struggle reveal. The announcement affected their marriage life in fundamental, cascading ways. First, the nature of intimacy changed. Where before they might have shared travels, late nights, joint promotions. Now they had to renegotiate rest, medical appointments, checkups. Energy would no longer be freely given. The rhythms of closeness had to account for fatigue, side effects, hospital visits. They had to place boundaries around what could be expected of the other. The ideal of always being there had to be tempered by the reality of limitations. Second, trust and communication were tested. When one partner is confronted with illness, the other must step into caretaker roles, emotional support, adjust expectations, and sometimes suppress their own needs. Those shifts strain even the strongest bonds. Arguments about what constitutes overdoing it, about how much to push versus how much to pause, about silence versus disclosure, all this began to corrode patience. Misunderstandings grew when one withdrew out of fear or fatigue, and the other misinterpreted the withdrawal as distance or disinterest. Third, career decisions became fraught. For Chang Wook, who had been known for ambitious, high-impact roles, action scenes, long shoots, travel, the diagnosis forced reconsideration. He had to weigh whether to decline certain roles, reduce his schedule, or take hiatuses. Each decision risked financial and reputational cost. For Hyun, too, the desire to continue her craft clashed with the need to preserve health. Projects had to be reconsidered, promotions scaled down, filming schedules aligned with recovery windows. Endorsements, appearances, joint projects. All recalibrated. Fourth, public pressure intensified. The announcement opened the door to scrutiny, speculation, unsolicited advice, invasive paparazzi, tabloid theories. Every social media post, every photo, every hospital visit could be misinterpreted. The couple had to balance transparency with privacy, reassurance with restraint. They faced leaks, rumors, contrived narratives about severity, prognosis, consequences, all of which threatened to unmoor them further. Fifth, emotional resilience was challenged. Living with uncertainty, with the fear of worsening conditions, with the psychological weight of what might be lost, those stressors intrude on marriage life in stealthy ways. Moments of anger, guilt, frustration, resentment might flare. One may feel burdened, the other may feel guilty for being a burden. Support systems outside the marriage, family, friends, medical professionals, become critical, but also risk infecting the marriage with external tension. Sixth, future planning had to be reimagined. Where once they may have spoken of children, homes, joint investments, travel plans, now they had to ask, what is possible, what must change, what must be postponed, or perhaps abandoned. They had to renegotiate shared dreams. The future they once envisioned together now had to incorporate contingencies, unknowns, new definitions of togetherness. In the days and weeks following their announcement, the public and media clamored for updates. Some outlets speculated wildly about the specific diagnosis. Is it autoimmune?